Hi, grace and peace be multiplied unto you. I welcome you all to today's lesson in science and a continuation of the topic vegetative crop production. So, today we are going to talk about methods of sowing seeds. So, in the previous weeks, we looked at some factors to consider before going into vegetative crop production. We looked at climatic factors, we looked at type of seeds, type of soil, nearness to the market, and the rest. So we are going to continue with the methods of sowing seeds. So our objectives for this lesson is that by the end of the lesson you should know the methods of planting seeds. You should also understand transplanting and processes involved in transplanting. So basically there are two methods of sowing seeds. We have the drilling method and then the broadcasting method. So let's look at the drilling method. So the drilling method, in this method, a small hole with a pointed stick is made. So a small hole is actually made using a pointed stick or a diber or a finger. And viable seeds are put into this small hole and then covered gently with soils. Okay, so these small holes in which seeds are sown are called drills. So the small holes in which seeds are sown is what we refer to as drills. After seeds have been sown, they are then watered, since water is needed before germination can occur. So for instance, the drilling method has to do with creating a hole in the soil, putting the seed there, and covering that hole with soil, and after that, watering the soil. Okay, so that is basically how the drilling method is done. And let's look at the other method, which is the broadcasting method. So the broadcasting method, seeds are spread evenly on the surface of the soil and then covered lightly with a layer of soil. So the broadcasting method was what was in the beginning of the video, of this video, like the beginning slide. You realize that someone was planting seeds and the seeds were on the top of the soil. But the next thing that happens is that a layer of soil will be used to cover the seeds. Okay, so after the seeds have been sown, they are also then watered, since using a watering can or an empty can that is being improvised. So let's look at advantages of drilling method over broadcasting method. Now you for the two methods, actually the drilling method is considered to be advantageous than the broadcasting method, and these are the reasons. Seeds that are sown using the drilling method are not washed away when it rains. Now, because the seeds actually go deep down into the soil, they cannot be washed away. Seeds sown are not easily eaten by pests. Same reason, because they are sown deep down in the soil, pests wouldn't find it easy to get to those seeds. Seeds are not easily blown away by strong winds, since their roots are firmly placed in the soil. So, because they are already in the soil, they are firmly rooted in the soil, and it's easier to pick weeds from the seedlings. So let's look at care of the nursery. So when you plant seeds in the nursery, these are certain things you need to look out for to ensure that the seeds grow well to their maximum potential. So first, seeds should be watered in the morning and in the evening. So it's very important that you water your seeds morning and evening to keep them moist all the time. And then weeds should be removed as soon as they appear. Once weeds show up in the nursery bed, you are supposed to quickly take them out because weeds will actually compete with the plant for nutrients in the soil. Stirring. It's also important that you stir the soil in order to make air get into the soil. So stirring of the soil helps to aerate the soil. And pest and disease control. So seedlings at nursery are easily attacked by pests and diseases. So it's very important that they are detected and destroyed using the right approach. Thinning out. When we say thinning out, it's basically the removal of weak and extra seedlings from the seed boxes or nursery bed. So if they are weak seedlings, or there are seedlings you think that cannot go well, you take them out from the seed box or the nursery bed. An importance of thinning out: it reduces overcrowding and it prevents the spread of diseases. Okay, pricking out is also one of the cares for the nursery. And pricking out, seedlings in nursery are usually overcrowded, so to prevent them from competing for nutrients, water, and sunlight, they are they have to be removed and transferred to larger boxes or nursery beds. So pricking out actually has to do with removing some of the plants or seedlings from one nursery bed to another because of overcrowding. Okay, an importance of breaking out is it prevents overcrowding, it allows seedlings to receive sufficient amount of water, light, and nutrients. It helps to promote seedlings of uniform size for transplanting, and it improves circulation of air. Another care you have to look at is fertilization application, fertilizer application. And fertilizer application has to do.
Connect at the moment. And in a little bit.
Fertilizer application has to do with fertilizing the soil with the right or recommended fertilizer to actually give the plant a good start and bring about uniformity of growth. And the last stage, which is hardening of seedlings, it's actually what I call training the seedlings to actually be able to conform with the harsh environment. So previously, you know that the seedlings are actually put into the shade, but when you are hardening seedlings, you actually try as much as possible to get them into a place where the light is high, a bit to the point where the light will get to the highest, so that it's like you are training them so that when you plant them to the main field, they will be able to stand the harsh environmental conditions. So that is basically hardening of seedlings, and it's very critical when seedlings are matured enough for transplanting. So let's look at planting and transplanting. Now, vegetable seeds can be planted both ways. The first one is planting a stake, and the second one is planting on a nursery bed and then transplanting. So planting a stake, like we said in our earlier video, we said planting a stake is planting seeds directly to the field where they are actually supposed to be. They would grow and be yielded or harvested. So planting directly onto the field. So examples of plants that are planted or seeds that are planted at stake are okra, watermelon, cucumber, granite. So one of the key things you need to look at when you are planting a stake is that they need to be planted deep into the soil. So the drilling method will be best for planting a stake. Now, vegetables that are next before planting, examples are tomatoes, garden eggs, and cabbage. So let's look at what transplanting is. So basically, the removal of healthy seedlings from the nursery and then planted in permanent positions in the field is what we refer to as transplanting. So seedlings have to be between 3 to 6 weeks to be transplanted. And transplanting is done when the soil is wet. It's very important that you transplant when the soil is wet so that you don't lose part of the plants. Why some seeds are nursed before they are transplanted? So these are some of the reasons why we nurse seeds before transplanting, and this is to give the seedlings a good start. Okay, so once the seedlings are nurtured, they are actually able to grow very well, and then once you put them to the main field, they can actually grow well. Nursing of seeds bring about uniformity. So when you nurse the seeds too, they actually grow well in the same size and the same length, and this brings about uniformity. This also reduces wastage of seeds. So because you don't want to do any try and error, as in try some seeds when they work before you plant them, and time will tell which ones will grow to harvest. It's important to nurse them.
Battery is low.
So
Please recharge in time.
when you nurse your seeds, what happens is that you actually know which ones are good and which ones are bad. Okay, so also nursing also helps seeds germinate quickly. It helps seeds germinate quickly, and so that seedlings can be easily maintained and cared for. So that's another reason why seeds are nursed before transplanting. Now let's look at steps involved in transplanting seedlings. So basically, transplanting means that you are removing a seedling from the nursery bed to the main field for planting. So what happens is that seedlings should be watered so that they can be removed with their roots intact and a ball of earth around them using a hand trowel. So that's why you need to water or keep the soil moist before transplanting so that you can easily remove the plant together with the part of the soil, a ball around the roots. So when you do this, the next thing you have to do is that the seedling that has been removed with the ball of earth around the roots is put in a shallow container. Okay, and then it is then transferred to the permanent place where they will be planted. So when you get to the permanent place, a hole is made using a dibber or a cutlass or hand trowel, and it should be large enough to be able to accommodate the ball of earth around the roots. Okay, so when planting, hold the leaves of each seedling and gently lift it from the container with little higher than the surrounding soil surface. Okay, now put the root portion of the seedling into the planting hole. Press the soil firmly at the base of the seedling and water the seedling and put mulch around them to keep the soil moist. So these are the steps. And the last step says that water the seedling and put mulch around them. So in our previous lessons, we learned about mulching, and we learned that mulching is actually addition of humus to the top layer of the soil to prevent the soil from losing water. So that would be the last step after you've transferred your seedling from the nursery bed, and then you bring it to the field. Then you dip it into the hole, you cover it nicely, you water, and then you mulch. So these are the steps involved in transplanting seedlings. So basically, we've met the objectives for today: to know the methods of sowing seeds and the processes involved in transplanting. So I believe you understand everything in the video, and I'll give an exercise based on this video. So until we meet again, enjoy your weekend and have a great day. Bye bye.